Bienvenidos, worldwide fans of the planet's hottest entertainment with an edge. Jaime En Fuego here, welcoming you to my namesake program, Enfuegotainment. You can just call me Fuego for short, and I am super stoked that you are here on another Music Monday. Yes, so Mondays here on Enfuegotainment, I alternate between Music Monday and Animated Monday, so we just kind of do a little hopping back and forth, and you are here for the sing-along part of the week. That's right, or at least, part of the month I should specify, and we're talking about a comedy entitled Stage Fright. Now, not to get confused, this is Stage Fright from 2014. There's literally on IMDb and Wiki and stuff like 5 or 6 other films named Stage Fright, including a horror film written by none other than, yes, the greatest of the great, none other than Alfred Hitchcock. And so that's not the one that we're talking about. We were talking about a comedy film that does have like a few horror elements in it, but it's really just played for laughs. This is kind of the equivalent of like Scary Movie meets like Repo or Rocky Horror or something like that. And so in this version of Stage Fright, it's essentially about this young girl whose mother, played by Minnie Driver, is murdered on opening night of this play. And so flash forward to her grown up. She is working at a summer camp run by her father along with her brother in the kitchen. Yeah, so she, while dreaming of being a part of these productions and all this different stuff, she unfortunately is relegated to just, working, doing the grunt stuff. And as they were about to do a revival, reimagining very much so of that same play that her mother was taken down at opening night, she starts wheeling and dealing and trying desperately in any possible capacity to become a part of the proceedings. And yes, first it's just to audition and get her foot in the door, because since she's not a camper, she's technically not even supposed to be allowed to audition. And yet with a little flirtation with the director, who is a total douche nozzle, she ends up at least getting that opportunity at his behest. The director convinces father, played by none other than Meatloaf. Yeah, Meatloaf, bat out of hell Meatloaf, I would do anything for Meatloaf, but I won't finish singing that. Anyway, so she does get her shot, and she is at least like competing with this other girl. Presumably one is they're gonna like kind of switch off. Initially I was like, oh, is she gonna be an understudy or whatever? But so it's whittled down to the two, and one of them is gonna be the opening night girl, and the other one is just gonna switch off and so on. And you can imagine there's some hostility and some resentment between those two girls. But in the same right, there is kind of a jokey killing thing going down, and this is where I can make the Scary Movie reference, because this masked killer, it's played way more for laughs than anything. And I mean, I guess this might have been something that could have migrated over to the horror show, but we're so backlogged on content, and since I just watched this and it's so much more of the comedic variety, it's gonna hang over here and whatnot. But the songs, more so than anything, are actually creative and relatively funny. The opening number with all the kids singing about how they can actually be themselves at this camp and stuff, and there's this one guy singing about, I'm gay, but not in that way. It's fun stuff, man, and as a fan of musicals myself, somebody who, enjoyed Repo and, Rocky Horror and, various others, Cannibal the Musical, for God's sake. I mean, I enjoy this, like, sprinkling of slapsticky stuff along with just a little dash of horror, which is really all that this boils down to. It's funny, though, because it goes from these show-tuney bits to, like, dare I say, like, straight up like hard rock, like metaliness, and so that's where I can make the Repo comparison in that regard for the genetic opera. It's not as heavy as that, although there is one number in particular where dude breaks out a guitar and he's got like a knife, and it's just, I don't know, it's a little bit silly. But really, more so than anything, it's about our lead and her just trying her damnedest to like debate if she's gonna compromise herself or not, and actually, like, sleep with the director, pull a Harvey Weinstein to get what you want sort of shizzle, as this guy is doing as he pits the two girls against each other. And then, of course, there is a stagehand kid who's, like, doing the lighting and some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, and he's got a crush on her, and so that's another element in play. But, I mean, really, this is a fun Canadian production. Like I said, 2014 was when this initially came out, debuted at South by Southwest. I don't believe it received theatrical distribution. It ended up going, you know, just direct to video. But I enjoyed it. I mean, the songs were fun. Production value was fairly solid. I mean, if it's going to get into South by Southwest, rest peacefully. South by Southwest breaks my heart with everything going on in the world right now, but it is what it is. So yeah, man, I mean, if you're a fan of stuff like, you know, Repo, Devil's Carnival, Shock Treatment, the aforementioned Cannibal the Musical, or even just those sensibilities of horror parody, which is really what this is. This is not a horror movie with comedic elements. This is a musical comedy that, you know, just takes a little slice into itself. And yeah, for that reason, I will definitely recommend Stage Fright here on a Musical Monday, everybody. So I've been Jaime En Fuego, and y'all can find moi on all social media sectors like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube. Not a lot of other musical coverage, at least as of yet, but going forward, I'm going to continue with this format, at least for now. There's lots of time to watch stuff. That's for damn sure, with, you know, self-quarantining and just being stuck in our homes and all this different stuff. So I was stoked to actually get this through the mail from Netflix. Yeah, I still snail mail my Netflix. I'm one of those, like, 1 percentile of, you know, peeps still doing that, because there's a lot that they only have available that way unless you want to pay to VOD it. And yes, you can VOD this at various, you know, different usual spots. I believe it's on Prime and Vudu and, you know, YouTube spots like that. But I don't know, there's something old school. There's, I don't know, there's some deleted scenes and bonus features on the DVD that I got through the mail, so it was cool to check that out. But as far as the rest of the Enfuegotainment stuff on here goes, everything from, you know, comedies to the comic book and nerdy stuff, you know, Marvel films, Star Wars, things of that nature, indie dramas, Academy Award-winning stuff. I did all the Oscar-nominated films this past year, as I did last year when I relaunched this channel after it lay dormant for a couple years. So, I mean, yeah, I try to be the counter-programming of sorts to my main gig, which is youtube.com/The Horror Show channel. That's where everything spectacular you can think of. I mean, we're talking trailer reactions, we're talking film reviews, you know, comic book reviews, sometimes novel reviews. I do a weekly Stephen King show on there every Saturday. You know, trailer reactions, unboxings, video game let's plays, if that's your thing. So, I mean, a nice, you know, melting pot, or bleeding pot, I should say, of everything scarific over there. And then lastly, a couple Mondays a month. It used to be every Monday, but unfortunately, as the entertainment industry is kind of in shambles right now because of the state of the world, but, you know, obviously more important things have to take precedence. But on the Willis Screedia YouTube channel, a program called Show Business, Mondays 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, myself, CP, the main dude over there at the Screeds, along with Chauncey K. Robinson and Lindsay Mimsy, as I affectionately call that dude from my 2 cents of nonsense. We used to get together and talk box office. That can't really happen anymore, at least currently. But yeah, we discuss film delays, different entertainment industry news that does trickle through. So just stay tuned to my social media, or, you know, CP from Willis Screedia. I mean, all of us will give you the heads up if it is a Monday when we are doing that show. So, I'm En Fuego. Y'all have been rad status as per always. And until the reel of Ka comes around once more, I say hasta luego, Cinemigos, and constant readers and viewers alike. But I'm hopeful that we get to share more of this film palaver sooner rather than later. Peace out. Stay safe.